From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, October the 25th, 2021. Israel's Defense Minister Benny Gantz announced Friday that 6 Palestinian civilian institutions would be designated as terror group, saying they operated on behalf of the PFLP, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, which has been designated as a terrorist organization by Israel, the United States, and the European Union. Israel's foreign ministry said the PFLP operates these institutions, referring to the 6 groups, to attain donations, many of which come from the EU, under the guise of humanitarian aid, that they serve as the main source of funds for the financing of the PFLP's activities at all levels, ultimately funding terror against Israel. The announcement from Israel received a slew of backlash, including from the Palestinian Authority and from groups like J Street and Amnesty International. U.S. State Department spokesperson Ned Price said the Biden administration would ask Israel to clarify its reasons for the decision. And there were reports today that Israel was sending an envoy from its security agency, the Shin Bet, and from the foreign ministry to do just that. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett announced the approval of a multi-million-dollar initiative to fight crime and violence within the Arab-Israeli community in Israel. This after a recent spike in criminal violence within Arab communities, where this year alone 104 people have been killed. Bennett also announced a massive economic plan, he said, to reduce the gaps in education, social welfare, and women's employment, among other efforts in Israel's Arab sector. Well, a follow-up now for you on a story we told you about last week of the D.C. branch of the ecological Sunrise Movement, who withdrew from a voting rights rally this weekend because they said 3 Zionist organizations were taking part, namely the National Council of Jewish Women, the Reform Movement's Religious Action Center, and the Jewish Council for Public Affairs. On Friday, the National Sunrise Movement called the D.C. affiliate's decision and remarks unacceptable and anti-Semitic. And yesterday, the D.C. branch apologized, although still maintained its anti-Zionist position. Sunrise DC tweeted, "In our statement, we named 3 Jewish organizations and criticized their positions on Israel, but did not mention other organizations in the Declaration for American Democracy Coalition with similar positions. Writing, we apologize unequivocally for this. We now understand the way our action has fueled anti-Semitism." The group, however, continued to rail against Zionism, placing it in the same category as anti-Semitism. The United Arab Emirates, for the first time ever, sent its Air Force chief to Israel to observe Blue Flag 2021. Although the Emirates Air Force is not taking part in the exercise, Nasser Mohammed Al-Alawi arrived in the country to observe part of the international drill. He also met with his Israeli counterpart, Amikam Norkin. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, October the 25th. At 7 o'clock, it's The Wisdom of Dr. Ruth. At 7:30, Ellie Cohanim speaks with Egyptian political commentator Nervana Mahmoud to talk about tolerance and coexistence in Egypt and other countries in the region, as well as anti-Semitism and perceptions of Zionism. At 8, Bret Stephens discusses disinformation in the news and shares his perspective on Israel's battle with the media. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Yisrael Maimon on L'chaim. At 10, Deborah Lipstadt discusses her book, Antisemitism Here and Now, with Barry Weiss. And coming up next, Shachar Azani speaks with Arsen Ostrovsky, CEO of the International Legal Forum and Sharaka board member, to talk about the 1-year anniversary of the Abraham Accords and the impact they've had inside and around Israel. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, October the 25th, 2021. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.